Hello from the Fest and Silicon Valley. My name is Leslie and I'm here with Julia from the ADK team, and I'm so excited to talk about agents. Julia, would you introduce yourself, please?
Sure, Leslie. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Julia Wiesinger. I am the product manager on Agent Development Kit. That is one of the many hats that I wear at Google, but I'm super excited to be here and chat with you today.
Oh, wonderful. We know ADK has been released just this April 2025. And we are so excited what's going on with the community and all this agentic world. Would you give us some main ideas about what's agent, what can you build with agents, and then we can go on and talk about ADK.
Sure. So I always say that an agent kind of has a couple of key components. You can think of an agent as something that can use tools to access external kind of information, databases, APIs, etc. Potentially also take actions. So think about, it wants to access Google Search, or it wants to be able to access BigQuery or something else. So you essentially are giving it the power to access kind of external tools, just like if you were to give a human a kind of a calculator. Then the second component that we always say, it has state and memory and context over time, right? It is something that persists. You can have multiple turns and multiple pieces of a conversation with it. And the final component that I always say is part of an agent is essentially that reasoning loop, that orchestration layer. The piece where it essentially is not just calling, an API or something like that, but it's actually going through a step of processes to figure out kind of what it should respond back to the user with. So I would say those three things wrapped together kind of make up an agent. And if you were to summarize that in one single sentence, it's kind of like something that can go and take action as it kind of goes towards a specific goal.
Perfect. I like the idea we can actually set it up for agents to do complex tasks, where I found it super useful. But the main question would be when we are teaching about agents and ADK specifically, why I'm not only using an API call, and why I'm not only asking or improving my prompts. Why would I use agents?
I think there's kind of this journey that has happened throughout the industry, right? We started out with an LLM call. It was a simple LLM call, right? The next thing that happened is we added a database. We went to RAG, right? We started adding kind of those components. Now the next thing we started adding was actual tool use, so taking actions with APIs. And
to give it the access to the external world.
Exactly.
That's a good thing.
Exactly, right? If you think back, the earliest versions of this were just an API call, and now more and more things are being added. And as you add all of those components, you also need to have the model kind of continue to improve on the one side, but you also need to have the model and edit on its ability to reason and plan. And what that means is essentially it needs to now figure out what it needs to do, right? Mm-hmm. So essentially you've got all of these components, you've got these tools that are available to it. It can take various different steps. Say it has a Google search tool, it has data in BigQuery, it also has APIs from Apigee. Which of those tools is it going to use to answer and respond to the user's request? That is kind of a key component of agents and of that journey. Now the next layer that has been coming on in the last couple of months and things is not just being able to use kind of tools, but being able to also personalize and customize to the context of kind of that user through things like state and memory and sessions management. Yeah. So that over time, the model is able to respond in a very contextualized way so that the answers become even more useful. The easiest way to think about that is when you are creating, for example, in Gemini, a gem, you're giving it context that persists over time.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And so it has that context every single time. Mm-hmm. And that is then the way for kind of the agent to operate. And the same structures then happen for developers, right? We're taking apart those pieces that you're used to from a UI, from a user perspective, and putting them together so that you can then use them as a developer and put together your own agents to help you code, to help you do data science tasks, to whatever. There's so many creative ideas out there.
Yeah, that's really exciting because while we are improving prompting and we are facing the challenges like, oh, I need to Google this. So let's take a Google search something. But now I need to, under the responsible construction, responsible building, I need to, stop this or not allow this, whatever. And then you're actually getting to the point like, oh, but this is getting complex, and that's where I like to think about the point now, oh, we should use agents and we should use frameworks. And so tell us a little bit, what is ADK? What do you like the most from the ADK framework?
That's a great question. ADK is Google's own kind of built framework for building agents for developers. We built ADK for Google as well, not just for the external community, but built on all the learnings that we know from bringing agents to production and at scale, and running them at scale. And so we built it with a couple of principles in mind. First off, that it is multi-agent from the start.
Good, yeah.
So that you can essentially, rather than building one giant agent that has all of the pieces, you can break it down into multiple sub-agents that can work together and be orchestrated together. The second component that we took into consideration from the beginning was the support for live. We know where the models are kind of headed just based on the fact that we work together deeply with GDM. And so we really made sure that from the ground up, we were thinking about how to integrate live and how to make sure that that kind of works kind of from the beginning. And I think the third piece about ADK that I find particularly awesome, which is something that we've added a little bit more recently, is actually what I like to call our plugins architecture. It's a super composable framework that allows you to inject code along the agent's path in order to ensure that it actually holds up in production systems. And I think there's a lot of really cool components there that both developers can build, or they can use pieces that we've already built for them to essentially scale and productionize their own agents.
Oh, that's really awesome. And I like how this can really help us to get into this main idea, what an agent is, what can do, and actually to really solve complex problems on this. What are the kind of applications you have seen so far? I know it's super new and we are learning and we are testing, but something that you can see like the community is starting to build or starting to ask.
I love a couple of things. I think there is a ton of use cases we're seeing with live and video.
Oh, cool.
So if you think about things like what we shared this morning in the Max Planck Institute from a research perspective, they're actually using it to act as essentially a senior researcher to help their more junior researchers, especially when they're around expensive equipment, and to make sure they're using those things correctly. So rather than that more junior researcher having to wait until the next morning, they can actually upload a video to an ADK-based agent from the equipment, from what they're trying to do, and it'll guide them through kind of that process step by step. The other really cool example that we were just talking about this morning during the DevFest keynote is actually from Color. They built an agent that is helping women figure out if they are eligible for mammogram screenings. And that's really, really exciting because it gives access to people that maybe didn't have access because they didn't know about it, or for various different other reasons. And so I think there's just a ton of opportunity for agents, and these are some of the use cases that we've seen in these different areas. So I would say they span all different kinds. I think, as I said, there's a ton of opportunity in live and video, but I think there's also a ton of opportunity in the creative space when I look at everything that our Nano Banana model has been able to put out there. I know we went bananas for Nano Banana.
We are also excited, and we can see in the community everybody posting all this stuff.
Exactly. So especially as someone who did design for a long time and knows how hard it used to be to learn Photoshop, to learn all of those things, when we see how quickly those iterations now can come out and how
it works and it's good.
Exactly. There's another customer that has actually built an entire marketing agency based on agents. That takes every single component.
ADK.
On ADK, of course. That takes every single step kind of in that process, puts them together, and outputs kind of a final result. And I think there's a lot of opportunity in that, and it's a really exciting space.
Oh, that's awesome. So agents are real. Applications are real. People are building complex applications, solving real-world problems with ADK. So how to get started? How can I learn about ADK agents? What would you recommend?
So I think there's a ton of great content out there, and I'm going to point specifically towards 3 things. The first one is our ADK Docs page. We have a ton of great resources out there, but we also recently actually added a tab around the community. So we're trying to really highlight all the community videos and things like that that we see out there. So from things that we find, that we come across where people have done a great job explaining and building, we actually have an entire tab that's dedicated purely to the community and what they have been building and how they've been building. And so I think that's a really great place to start. Second is we do have a Cloud Skills Boost course that goes from kind of the very basic steps onto how to get building with an agent.
Oh, cool, yeah.
I think that's a great resource, which we hopefully can also share.
So we can share, of course, yeah.
And then I think the third one, and this is a little bit timely, but we will kind of have that information available even after the session, is next week we actually are hosting a Kaggle generative AI intensive around agents. We're super excited. We've had a ton of excitement from the community. We even reopened registration, believe it or not, because
awesome. Is it the 5-day intense Gen AI training?
Exactly.
Okay, I know what it is.
Exactly.
And we share the link so people can still find information.
Perfect. And the information will stay and persist, so it'll be available to people after the fact. And I think that's a great way, not only to learn more about agents, to learn more about ADK, to learn more about how this kind of operates within the environment, all those components that we were talking about, from tool use to context to memory, but also for people to connect. So we've opened the Kaggle Discord server. We're having a lot of people kind of join and communicate on that front. And in that vein as well, we've actually started to do a community call for ADK. So our second community call will be November 19th, I believe. So really excited for that, and we'll continue to host those on a regular basis as well.
That's amazing. I really like how close we are getting into the community to actually know what they are learning, what they are doing. And that takes me to 2 more points I would like to talk. First is related to the Gen AI 5-day intense day course that I've seen the content, and it's not only, the topic and the concept and just a demo. It's something like people can start getting hands-on on this, and that's awesome. And the second point is I know we are all learning about agents, about ADK. There are so many versions coming out. Devs are really into the ADK docs and the forums, I should say the issues, because I've been reporting issues as well. So how would you motivate people or developers? How would you encourage them actually to get into the community if it's the first time they are contributing or the first time they are actually learning to use the tool, and how they can be engaged?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question. And ADK is particularly interesting from the way that we've set things up. In that sense, we really want to work together with the community to make sure that we're starting to kind of build and pull those pieces in. I think there's 2 ways that are going to be really, really useful for folks to contribute. So first off, the community call, the next one.
Important, yes.
We're actually going to go through the life of a PR. So we'll explain in a little bit more detail what the process is, what the steps are, how we take those into consideration, etc. The second thing is we actually publish a roadmap on GitHub on a regular basis.
Is it already live?
Yeah, it's live.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So those are great ways to comment and say, hey, I'm really interested in helping build these features, et cetera, et cetera. We also do use the GitHub tags fairly regularly. We have tags for need help. We have tags for great first issue, et cetera. So you want to look for those type of things as you're kind of engaging. And I think those will be 3 resources that will be really useful for people as they want to start engaging with us from a community.
Yeah, because I believe if you are a dev and you usually start testing different tools but not have asked questions or contribute before, this is a great opportunity where everybody is learning how to use the tool, how to interact with others, and also a great opportunity in Latin America, for example, that we can start testing for our own real-world application cases and report what's working, what's not working, and that will help the team to improve the tool. So thank you so much, Julia, for being part of this conversation. I know you've been at the DevFest giving a talk about this topic, and people are very excited. What else would you like to share with the people that are getting started on agents and ADK?
First off, just get building. Really, it's that simple. I think, we need to start getting used to these tools. It's different than building classical software development, right? It is just, agents are non-deterministic at the end of the day. And it's something that you have to wrap your head around to understand. And so the best thing is get your hands dirty and start building. And the second piece is, I love using AI tools to help me build. And when I say help me build, it's not just coding, because we want to be careful with kind of just relying purely on AI tools to code, right? But to help explain concepts to me.
Like a tutor.
Exactly, it's like my personalized tutor. It is magical, and that is the experience that I've been having. If I don't understand something, I'll use Gemini CLI. I'll go into the Gemini app, and I'll use guided learning. Those are really, really great tools to really customize the learning path for yourself, even with all the resources that are available externally. You've got all the resources that we talked about before, but oftentimes I'm stuck on this particular problem. What's going on here? Why is this not working? Or what am I missing? And that is where that becomes super, super powerful. So I will really recommend that people use these tools to help you understand, and pass it the GitHub repository, pass it the details, and it'll be able to explain all of that content to you. And that's really, really exciting to me.
And that's a mentor that's gonna be available 24/7.
Exactly. Never goes to sleep.
I feel like I start working from 5 a.m. and I don't understand this, and I need to ask somebody, or when we work in different time zones.
Exactly.
How can I solve this? And now I have my agent, my LLMs to ask, and it's wonderful. So thank you so much again for your time and this valuable conversation. So let's start building.